Live has some powerful keyboard shortcuts which can help you stay in the flow when you're creating music. The first shortcut is the one that starts everything. Spacebar. If I want to start from the point where I stopped, I just hold Shift and press space. This also holds for arrangement view. Changing between session view and arrangement view is done by pressing the Tab key. If I want to change between clip view and track view, I hold Shift and I press Tab. This happens at the bottom in the detail view. To change the layout of Live, I can hold Command Option and press L to hide and show the detail view on a Mac, or hold Ctrl Alt and L on a PC. Holding down Command and Option and pressing the following letters will change the layout of Live on a Mac, and on a PC you hold Ctrl and Alt. Press S to hide and show the sends, R to hide and show the return tracks, M to hide and show the mixer, or I to hide and show the inputs and outputs and various routing options of Live. To show or hide the browser, on a Mac hold Command Option and press B. On a PC it's Ctrl Alt and B. The same key hides away the browser. To search in the browser, press Command F on a Mac or Ctrl F on a PC and write whatever you're looking for. Press Enter to go to the results, and use the arrow keys to highlight and preview the sounds on top of your composition.
In the arrangement view, there are several handy keyboard shortcuts that can really help you speed up your workflow. Let's take a look at these. To split an audio or MIDI clip at a selection, press Command E on a Mac or Control E on Windows. To consolidate two or more clips together, press Command J on a Mac or Control J on a PC. To toggle a loop selection, press Command L on a Mac or Control L on Windows. To insert silence at the point of an insert marker, press Command I on the Mac or Control I on Windows. To fold or unfold one or more selected tracks, press U on your computer keyboard. To fold or unfold all selected tracks, hold down the Alt button on a PC or the Option button on a Mac and press U on your computer keyboard. In a live project, if all of the tracks have a different height size, press H on your computer keyboard to arrange all the track heights equally to fit the screen. If you find yourself zoomed into a particular section of your arrangement, press W on your computer keyboard to allow the entire arrangement to fit the screen. To allow the display to scroll, hold Command-Shift-F on a Mac or Control-Shift-F on Windows. To zoom into an arrangement time selection, press Z on your computer keyboard. If you wish to zoom out of the time selection, press X on your computer keyboard. If you wish to further zoom out from the time selection, press X again. If your computer's trackpad supports mouse gestures, you can use the trackpad to zoom into certain areas of your arrangement by pressing Alt on a PC or Option on a Mac and using the mouse gestures. You can also use the mouse gesture to resize the track height of a selected track.
Yo, what's good guys, it's Relish. Today I'm going to be doing a video on Ableton keyboard shortcuts because I find them really useful, and yeah. Alright, so getting into it, I'm just going to go over the single key keyboard shortcuts because those are obviously the easiest and the most used. The first one is obviously Tab, and Tab alternates between session view and arrangement view. And next one is toggling automation, and all you have to do is hit A, and you can see these things come up. If you're using anything lower than Ableton 10, the automation will automatically show up. You don't have to press a keyboard shortcut, so yeah, just keep that in mind. And I just want to make a note that if that keyboard shortcut isn't working, you probably have the MIDI keyboard shortcut on, which is M, and it basically just turns your keyboard into a MIDI keyboard. So I'm using my mechanical keyboard right now, and I just hit M, and if you hear... So I'm using my mechanical keyboard as a MIDI keyboard, and that's just by hitting M. And if I try to hit A with it on, it just plays a note. The next one is to deactivate and activate things, and that is just to hit 0. And you can do that with clips, you can do that with tracks, and it'll mute it. And then you can also disable and enable plugins. So yeah, that's kind of cool too. After that, there's R, and that basically takes a audio track and it'll reverse it. So if I hit R on this, it'll reverse it, and you'll hear... This is holding down control while you're on a clip, and it basically just duplicates it, and yeah, it's super handy. And another great keyboard shortcut is holding down shift and going on one of the sides of a clip, and you can shrink or expand it. And that's really nice, but you have to have warp on, so just keep that in mind. Next is hitting S to collapse everything. So if you have a really big project like I do sometimes, hitting S will be really nice because it really condenses everything. And then you can pick and choose whichever tracks you want fully available. Or another thing I would like to recommend is when you're in piano roll, if you hit Control A, it'll select it all, obviously. And if you hold down Shift and hit the up or down arrow key, it'll basically move it up or down an octave, which I use quite frequently. And another thing you can do is you can do left and right while you're holding down Shift, and it'll basically make these smaller or larger depending on how you have your grid set. It is going into preferences, and all you have to do is hold down Control and comma, and it'll basically show up preferences. And if you don't want to do this, then you can obviously just go to options and preferences, which really isn't that much slower, but it's kind of nice to just be able to do that off the bat. Then after that, it is Control Z and Control Y. Control Z is to undo and Control Y is to redo. Control I, and it basically inserts time. All you need to do is hit Control I, and you can choose however many bars you want, or you can make a selection. So say I wanted 8 or 16 bars or whatever. Make the selection and hit Control I, and then it'll make a open selection for you to use. And the very last one is Control U, and that basically is quantizing. And this is already quantized, but if you hold down Control U when you have it all selected, it'll put it to whatever closest grid you have. Or another thing you can do is you can hold down Control Shift and U, and you can choose which grid you want it without changing the grid size in the piano roll or the arrangement view or whatever.
Hey guys, in this video I'm going to rapid fire through a bunch of different Ableton Live shortcuts. I'm going to be speaking in terms of the Mac, but you can obviously substitute Control for Command and Option for Alt if you're on Windows. Alright, plugin window open, it's Command Option P to show and hide it. If you want to export your track, it's Command Shift R. And to show the info panel, it's Shift question mark. If you want your MIDI notes even without hitting record, let me play a little melody. Now press Shift Command C. And just like that, the MIDI notes are captured. If you only want to play a selected region, select it first and then press Option space. It'll automatically stop when it reaches the end of the selection area. To map a MIDI parameter, press Command M, and then you can simply select the parameter you want and then move the MIDI controller to assign it. And similarly, you can press Command K to enter keyboard map mode. Then you can assign things to the keyboard. So for example, I can click on the metronome, press the 1 key, and now every time I press the 1 key, I can toggle the metronome. To delete the mapping, just open the browser and you can delete it over here. There are several ways to change a value. You can use the mouse to scroll up and down. If you hold Shift while scrolling, it'll do finer control. You double click it to reset it to its original value, or you can press backspace to set it to original value. You can also type the value you want directly with the keyboard and then press Enter. If you want to hot swap a device, just select it and then press Q. Then you can scroll up and down and pick different things to replace it with, and then press Enter, and now you have a new instrument loaded. And then press Q again to exit.
Believe me, they're going to make you so much faster in Ableton. Pretty much every single feature has its own keyboard shortcut, the keyboard, because you can actually use your keyboard, your computer keyboard, as a MIDI keyboard to play notes. Now, if you've got that activated, then this little icon will be lit up. What we need to do is we need to turn this off, because some of the keyboard shortcuts I'm going to show you actually use those same keys. And if you try and use them, then you'll probably notice that the keyboard shortcut doesn't work, but you are actually playing MIDI notes. So when you're not playing MIDI notes, then just turn that off and you'll be able to use these keyboard shortcut keys. Because there's actually a couple of really cool shortcuts that I use in here all of the time. So the first one is hitting B on the keyboard. You can see my cursor at the moment is an arrow key. If I hit the B key, it turns into a little pencil, which allows me to then draw a note if I want to. I can just hit the B key to toggle between the normal selection and draw mode. It just makes it very, very quick. It just means I don't have to go into the menus at all. So it makes it very, very easy for me to be able to add a note and then go straight into selection mode. Now you
What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you some useful keyboard shortcuts for Ableton Live. The first shortcuts that we're going to check out are all about creating new tracks. So we can create a new MIDI track, we can create a new audio track, and we can create a brand new return track. Next, we're going to talk about slipping clips, which is useful if your clips are only a section of a much larger range of audio. So you can use this shortcut to actually change the selected piece of audio that will play during your clip.
What's up everyone, it's Nick, and in today's video I'm going to show you my top 50 Ableton Live tips and tricks that you need to know. Now, I am using Ableton 10.1, so you do need 10.1 to use these, and I am using a Mac. If you're on Windows, anytime I say command, you're going to use control. Anytime I say option, you're going to use alt on the keyboard. Save a custom template with your favorite tracks and effects by going to File, Folder, and Save Current as default. Customize your Ableton colors by going to the Look and Feel tab of Preferences and selecting different brightnesses, color intensities, and color hues. Use the automation flex points now available in Ableton 10.1 to skew your shapes. Right-click on a track title bar to assign the track color to all its clips. When pitching vocals down or up, try to use the Complex Pro warping algorithm and play with the formants for different textures. Right-click on the EQ8 title bar and click on oversampling to get a slightly better quality. Use Command 4 to turn off the grid and use the arrow key to nudge your drums to get slightly looser timing.